Alright folks, I finally got some time to start picking away at some of the projects here, and as you remember from the last update video, for those of you who had watched it, this is the Klipper reel mower, and I got this up on the lift here. We're going to be delving into this today, see if we can get everything to run and work again. So it's a kind of a neat old piece. It's got a Briggs & Stratton 6S engine on it. I'm guessing it's somewhere around 2.5 horse. I don't know what the horsepower rating are on these ones, but I know it can't be all that much. Gas tank's going to have to get cleaned out. It's got a lot of bad shellac in there from the gas sitting over the ears, and carburetor's going to have to get cleaned out. All the usual stuff. It does have compression and it does have sparks, so I don't have to worry about those, which is nice. And obviously now we're also going to have to go through the reel itself and make sure all that's moving and working properly. And then once I get this thing running, we'll have to see about maybe even lapping those in, getting some compound on those, and see if we can put a nice knife edge back onto them. But anyways, let's get this carburetor off here, get this thing pulled apart, we can start cleaning everything out. Definitely some bad stuff inside there. It's going to have to get dried out and scraped. Tank and carburetor are both off, so I know this thing's definitely been sitting for a while, because not only does this smell really bad, but it doesn't look real great either, as you can see. So gas should definitely not be black, so I know this thing's been kicking around for a while in storage. And tank doesn't look, of course you guys probably can't tell, but it doesn't look too bad on the inside. I think if I can get most of that stuff cleaned out of there and dry it, I think the gas won't strip too much of it off and bring it into the carburetor, but we'll have to see. So I'm going to take some paint thinner, I'm going to slosh it around in here, dump it out again, and then I'm going to set up a little fan to get this thing dried out. And if it dries out enough, I'm going to try putting it into the glass bead blaster, and I can kind of work the nozzle around inside of there and see if I can blow off some of that stuff. The best thing to do with this would actually be put some acetone in it, because acetone will strip everything out of the inside of this. I know that for almost a fact, but I also don't have enough acetone right now to fill up this tank, because I've only got a really small bottle of it. So for the time being, paint thinner and the sandblaster are going to have to do. This is actually stripping some stuff off as it is right now. So I guess for now we're going to let that sit, see if it can peel some more stuff off the bottom. Now we're going to get this carburetor here taken care of. Which, as you can see, the screen on the bottom, it's all plugged up. So hopefully the tube is still decent. And there's a good chance I might have some new ones in my parts lot, but I'd have to check. I'd rather not replace it if I don't have to. Now it turns out I might actually end up having to get another tube for this. I don't know if it's going to focus, but the lip that holds the little screen in is actually rotted away, and you can see the edge of the screen. So it's going to end up falling out. I'll try cleaning it off, but I think from being in there so long it just ate part of the brass or the little metal clip. I don't know if they peened that over on the top or they got a clip holding that in, but I don't think it's going to last very long. There's your screen. And sometimes when these tubes get messed up and the screen is junk on the end of them, what I'll do is I'll take a piece of, I got some fine mesh around here, like so, something like that, and I'll cut a piece of it and I'll wrap it around the end of this with some mechanics wire, and I'll kind of make my own screen for the bottom of it. And it doesn't look like this one's got the little check ball in it, because some of them do. Keep the gas from coming back down the tube. At least that'll make the tube cleaning out easier, but have to see if we can get some of this stuff scraped off. Worst comes to worst, we can throw it into the glass bead blaster, get the tube cleaned out, and I think that'll take care of this carburetor for the most part. And then we just got to see about getting a screen on the end of this pickup tube, keep all that crap from getting back up into the carburetor again. Bottom of the carburetor cleaned up fairly nice in the glass bead blaster. Got rid of all that corroded aluminum on the bottom and smoothed out the surface some again, despite it being all pitted up. So I got a gasket ready to go for this when it goes back together. As you can see, carburetor's all set, all my jets are all set, and I cleaned out all of my ports inside of here, my passages. So those are all ready to go back together. The gas tank is sitting outside soaking in paint thinner right now. And it actually turned out that the paint thinner is starting to lift everything off of the bottom. There's a layer of crap, and it's kind of starting to flake off like ice on a pond. So I'm just going to let that sit and see if I can get most of that off of there. In the meantime, while the gas tank is still soaking, I figured I'd pull off these wheels and take a look underneath, just because I'm curious what the drive setup looks like in here. That's kind of cool. You could change the tires back in the day if you wore them out. Well, it's as simple as that, folks. As you can see, you get the drive pinion gear here that rides on the shaft that the reel is attached to. And then on the inside of the wheel hub here, you have a ring gear that goes around the inside. So it's kind of a lot like either the Gravely gear reduction wheels or the Craftsman lawnmowers from today, the front wheel drive ones. Same basic design and all that. Got some crappy old grease in there. Probably scrape some of this grease and stuff out here, get these cleaned up, maybe pack some new grease into them. I can do the other side too, just so that way these are all squared away and set to go. And then by the time I'm done with this, hopefully that gas tank will be ready to slosh out. We can get everything scraped out of it and dry it out and see how it cleaned up. Our gas tank ended up cleaning up fairly nicely on the inside. As you guys can see, we're right back down to the metal again. So now I can start getting the rest of this stuff back together here. And if you guys can see it also, I also put the screen filter on the bottom of the pickup tube, that fine metal mesh. That way if there's any more crusty stuff in the tank that comes loose, it'll keep it from pulling up into the carburetor. One thing I am going to do before we try this out and run it is I'm going to raise up my knife a little bit, because as you can see, the top edge of it is just under 2 inches, so I want to keep from burning the grass this time of year if possible. So you can see that they have adjustments on the side of the wheels here, and there's also adjustment for the roller on the back to raise it up. So I'm going to drop these down a little bit and see if we can't get this up to about 2 or 2.5. That way it keeps the grass from getting cooked in the hot sun right now. Blades are all adjusted up. We got gas in the tank, so let's see if this thing will fire up. A nice running little Briggs. Can't beat these old cast iron blocks. I guess we'll take a chance the way the blades are right now. They don't look overly pitted or anything like that, so I guess we'll wheel this around back into some grass and see how it does. Well, aside from the blades needing a little bit of a sharpening, it seemed to do all right. We have kind of a bumpy yard up here, so it's not exactly ideal for a real mower. These are nice if you got a nice smooth yard, and they track a lot better than what it was up here. But aside from that, I'm pretty happy with it. The Briggs & Stratton 6S engine really runs nice. It was starting to smoke just a little bit once I got to running it a little bit, but not all too worried about it. But either way, I figure for 20 bucks you can't go wrong with it. So now I'm just going to have to find a place either up in the shed or in the Quonset hut here that I can pack it into the corner, probably take the handlebar off of it and see if I can get it into some dry storage. But anyways, at least that's one project checked off the list, so there you have it, folks.